Hello, my name is Anna Mennick and I'm the Totnes CLP's Environment and Animal Protection Coordinator. I invited Joe Hashman to come and give a talk on the politics of hunting because Devon is the most hunted county in Britain. And in addition to that, we've also had 2 violent attacks on hunt saboteurs this year. So as a subject, it's a really important issue for the Southwest to tackle. My background has been mostly in preventing the badger cull or attempting to prevent the badger cull here. And I know from my own research into widespread badger culling that will lead to a rise in the fox population and is one of the reasons behind the badger cull happening at all. So I'm very keenly aware of the importance of tackling illegal hunting, which is rife and widespread across the country, but most especially here in Devon, where some hunts go out 3 times a week. Joe was absolutely brilliant in his description of how the Hunting Act came about. And it was a really good history lesson on just how much effort it took and how many people it took to get this piece of legislation, this groundbreaking legislation through Parliament the first time, even though it's now since been riddled with holes that the hunts make much use of. And I think a lot of us weren't actually around or really involved in politics, those that were there in the audience, during the time that the Hunting Act was going through. So it was a really valuable history lesson. And one of the important aspects of that was the role of the Countryside Alliance and how the Countryside Alliance came into being precisely to oppose the Labour Party. So at this moment, when we are still having the Countryside Alliance attempting to infiltrate the Labour Party by writing through the Fabian Society and such like, it's really very important to learn and understand just how they came about and just what nasty underhand tactics and bloody tactics they do use. So I really appreciated his focus on that. Because there were a lot of people there that didn't realise just how awful the Countryside Alliance are. I think the thing that impressed me most about Joe's talk was actually the audience's questions at the end. They were insightful, they were thoughtful, they were far-reaching, and I was really proud of that, actually. I was very impressed with the audience, in addition to being impressed with Joe Hashman. And I hope you enjoy listening to and watching their comments and his replies after my introduction. Thank you for watching.
Yes, Labour government to bring in on animal welfare and environmental issues. And they include things such as banning all snares because they're completely, so many pets as well as all kinds of other so-called non-target species get caught in snares and they just don't differentiate. They should be banned. One of the things I would like to see happen is that so many, especially recently, so many trials of hunts have fallen by the wayside because the hunt and its illegal doings, including beating up people and running them down with a half-ton horse, has been tried by a judge and not by an impartial jury. And I would like to see a change in the law on that. So with the next Labour government, I would like to see that happen. And I'd just like to know Joe's thought on whether he feels that would make a difference.
It's a jolly good idea. We've just had a case in Dorset in March, which was heard by a district judge, sitting alone, and the huntsman in question, Portman Foxhounds, he admitted that he let his hounds hunt the fox because he figured that was the safest thing to do. And do you know what? The district judge acquitted him, even though he admitted it, and I'm not making this up. So yeah, the jury would be a great idea, because then at least you get a broad spectrum of biases evened out.
one of the biggest excuses that seems to be wheeled out by the hunts at the moment is that they are effectively they're using dogs to find fox and then they're just shooting it at the last minute. Should we be considering that whether the use of underpowered weapons and this sort of thing, and are we actually getting into a situation where we're justifying hunting foxes with guns just as much actually a problem?
I'm not aware of any hunting in England. Wales is different, but I'm not aware of any hunts in England that are claiming to be flushing to guns. They're doing this thing called trail hunting, which is fox hunting. It's just most people who watch trail hunting, the police basically, they don't know the difference between trail hunting and fox hunting because they aren't aware of the subtle details. I describe it as like I don't understand American football. So if I watch American football, you could tell me anything that's happening and I'll believe it. And it's the same with this trail hunting thing. You know, they are fox hunting, but they say to the police, "Oh no, we're not. We're hunting that large, obviously non-athletic chap sitting on a quad bike over there. He's just laid a trail over really difficult terrain." No. So I don't buy any of it.
Hunting has become a political football, and are we actually? I've got a feeling that we're actually being hoodwinked, and in actual fact, leading Tories are being hoodwinked by the Countryside Alliance. But in actual fact, that there are a majority of Tories who want it repealed. In actual fact, that there are a large minority of landowners who actually want it repealed, because as far as I can tell, no one actually wants fox hunting. It's just the people like me who seem to think that it will get them votes by saying if they will.
The countryside is kind of controlled by a minority of large, influential landowners, and many people don't want hunting on their land, but they're tenant farmers or they're independent farmers who rely on their neighbours during times of hardship, and if they speak out against hunting, they're worried about peer pressure. So no, I agree with you. I think the vast majority of the public are against hunting, and by definition, the vast majority of MPs are against hunting, I believe, and I believe by definition the vast majority of police, because at the end of the day, whatever your title, MP, policeman, lollipop man, we're all people, we're all the public, and most people are against it. So yeah, I think we are being hoodwinked, and I think that's why the Tories have dropped their pledge. I mean, what has happened, dropping their pledge to repeal the bill, is unprecedented. The British Philosophical Society became the Countryside Alliance, and I kid you not, they were known by everyone as the Conservative Party at play. And they're not playing anymore because they know that if they put it before the Commons, they'll lose. And they can't afford to lose because then it'll make it even more difficult to try again. So they're just playing a waiting game.
What's the current situation with the National Trust? And the other is, what about grass shooting? Do you take on any of those issues as well, given the huge environmental damage as well as the cruelty?
Yeah, well, Hands Off doesn't deal with grouse shooting. There's plenty of people doing that, and we have a small team of volunteers, so there's a limit. So the limit is hunting with hands. But the latest with the National Trust is that I met with the Director General on, I think it was the 9th of April, with others from National Distrust and Helen Bayman, who proposed the members' motion to ban trail hunting on their land, and with a chap from the League. And we met Hilary Grady, the boss, and she said she wanted to listen to all sides. She wasn't prepared for the National Trust to stop trail hunting, so whatever they do, they're going to allow it. But she said to us that she wants to reach a position where she can trust hunts which are granted a licence, which kind of means that at the moment they're not sure. They accepted that this season fewer hunts than ever before had applied for licences to hunt on National Trust land, but they put that down to confusion amongst the hunting fraternity over the National Trust stance, and but they accepted that that was the reason why there were an increase in what they call transgressions, which is unlicensed hunting and trespass, and that they were conducting an internal review of their policies ready before the next AGM and before the start of the next full hunting season. And one of the things that they say they're going to introduce is every hunt which is licensed to go on National Trust land is going to have one inspection day. So they're going to be monitored for one day. They will be told in advance, we're coming next Tuesday, we are going to test the trail that you lay, and we are going to be watching you from our vehicles and hilltops through binoculars. So I know what I will do on next Tuesday. I'll make sure I add some bogus artificial scent, and I'll keep to the woodlands view. Helen wrote a statement as a result of this meeting, and it's on the Hands Off website. If you go to the blog pages, it's the second blog down, and tomorrow evening, if I get time, I'll be posting an overview of the meeting which will contain all the salient points from that meeting, plus our concerns. So that is the latest from the National Trust, as far as I'm aware.
And it might be worth pointing out that Helen is also in the Labour Party as well, because she was she was at the Labour Party conference, yes, and spoke about this at several different events.
Yeah. Go on, sir.
How commonplace is deer hunting?
Deer hunting, well, there's three registered packs of staghounds, and they're all in the West Country. The Devon and Somerset staghounds, which operate on Exmoor, Quantock staghounds, which operate at Quantocks, and the Tiverton, which hunt sort of mid-Devon. There's also a number of unlicensed packs that hunt roebuck. The X-Valley is one, the Cheldon is another. I think there may be a couple of others which just... but basically, they wanted to become registered with the Master of Deer Renters Association back, I think, in the late 90s, but there was some controversy with some hideous cruelty which was filmed, and my understanding is that Master of Deer Renters Association said, actually, we're not going to register you because hunting roe deer it's quite likely to get messy at the end because they're only small animals and they're very big animals. So they wouldn't license them to become part of the association. So there's a few cowboy packs that go out with Tom, Dick and Harry hounds and, Carnage, and there's 3 packs of registered staghounds. So, yeah, during August the Devon and Somerset, I don't know if they've finished, if they've just finished, or if they're going to finish, the end of this week.
They're out today.
They're out today. So, yeah, stag hunting is commonplace in this part of the world.
Well, I must have led a sheltered life, because I didn't realise the extent of that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Which is very shocking.
I still do hear people... I still do hear a few people in wax-top and jackets talking about how they're not parts of associations, talking about what they will go out rabbiting, which essentially means using dogs to find them and shoot rather than gun for whatever they seem to think is going on.
Yeah.
What's the information on National Trust members regarding the fox hunting issue? Because you suggested that most of the population are against fox hunting, and I would have thought that was part of the national.
Well, there was the members' vote. There was the members' motion at the last AGM on whether to ban trail hunting and other forms of so-called exempt hunting. And now, I know you're filming this, I can't remember the exact figures, but there was about 100 votes in it, and basically the chairman used something like 3,000 proxy votes, all against the members' motion, to make sure that the status quo changed. So it was about 30,000 people voted in the end, so not a huge amount of members voted, but without the chairman's interference and use of proxy votes to swing it, it would have. It was only advisory, mind, so they didn't have to take any notice of it, but the members would have spoken. And it's worth noting as well that the National Trust banned stag hunting on their land, and yes, it still goes on, but they banned stag hunting on their land in 1997, because what happened there was that a succession of members' motions were put forward, and one of them was passed overwhelmingly by members. I mean, it was a huge vote to ban hunting. So, to ban stag hunting, sorry. So the National Trust commissioned Professor Patrick Bateson from Cambridge University, an animal behaviour expert, and he did, if you Google the Bateson report, you'll find all about it. If you go onto the Houndsditch blog and you search it, you know, we've got an overview there as well. Basically, Bateson spent a large period of time, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 seasons, following stag hunts, and they worked with him. So he had the cooperation of the Devon Somerset staghounds, and I think it was just the Devon Somerset. I don't think the Tiverton were up for it, and I'm not sure about the Quantocks, but he would follow them round, and they didn't change anything they did, but if Bateson could be there at the kill, he would take a blood sample, and he sampled a number of deer at the point they were killed, and the staghounds all thought, you know, deer hunting is pretty kind, really, that's why we do it. Actually, the Bateson report was so overwhelmingly like shock horror, this is unprecedented, this is totally unnatural, this is way above and beyond what anybody expected in terms of stress and distress caused to the deer, that the day after the Bateson report was published, the National Trust banned stag hunting on its land. Shamefully, they don't enforce the ban. They're on the ban.
Can I add something to that about the vote? Is that an awful lot of National Trust members in the recent vote never received their ballot card.
That's right.
And that's why there were so many proxy votes for the chairman to make use of, is because they actually kept back a lot of those votes and didn't send them out to membership. So it was really stitched up. Yeah. And also the other thing about it is that vote had happened before, a few years before, the same kind of vote, the same kind of proposal from members. And this time, the membership vote was higher than last time. So, you know, there really was a feeling amongst National Trust members that they wanted, they wanted a ban of hunting on National Trust land. And an awful lot of people left the National Trust after that, when they didn't receive their votes, and had them used, misused by the chairman as a result.
Yeah, and after that vote, I joined the National Trust because I want to have a voice and I want to have a vote. So if you've left the National Trust and you can afford, it's quite expensive, but if you can afford it, don't leave the National Trust to the hunters. Don't let it go to the dogs. Join, use your voice and use your vote. Honestly, people who leave the National Trust in disgust, think about it, you know, it's so frustrating because nobody's going to listen. The National Trust aren't going to, if they don't listen to their members, they're certainly not going to listen to their non-members.
But what's the point of getting a ban if they...
Excuse me,
like with
please repeat your questions because it's difficult for some of us to hear as well as the mic.
Yeah.
What's the point of getting a ban if the National Trust are not going to enforce it?
The point of getting a ban is so that we can get the National Trust to enforce it, because that's what they need to do. You know, murder's illegal, shoplifting's illegal, People still do it. You know, it doesn't mean that we. What's the point?
You're saying that stag hunting is still going on national land?
Yeah.
Well,
So the National Trust members need to use their voices to say to the National Trust, you banned this 21 years ago, and it's still happening. What are you doing? What are you paying your rangers for? Why are we paying parking fees? What's this money being used for?
Well, they seem to be very good at rounding up anyone who goes camping on their land to go to a ceremony.
Exactly. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm glad you mentioned the honourable member from Vauxhall, I think.
Kate Tilley.
Because my question to the Labour Party at large, and I don't expect an answer, is how has she been allowed to be a thorn in the side of the Labour Party for so long? I mean, how have her constituents allowed it? And she is an embarrassment to the party, and of course she's been a peg up for the Countryside Alliance and all the supporters. Just how has she been allowed?
Can I ask, and how has Baroness Malinieu ever been a Labour peer, for Christ's sake? I agree. It's just I don't understand. I mean, to me, they're obviously just pro-hub stooges that are put in, and it's like it's not even an open secret. I don't know. The Labour Party needs to sort it out. Vauxhall as well.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with the people up there?
For clarification, the Baroness, she's the president of the Countryside Alliance, the Labour president.
I know.
Here.
And obviously, for the Countryside Alliance, it looks great, doesn't it? We have a president who is a Labour peer. We have support from across the political party. Yes, ma'am.
Is it true that the police don't get any brownie points if they report a wildlife crime? And if we do report one, as it says on your leaflet, you must get a log number, otherwise it gets lost.
I don't know about the brownie points because I'm not a copper, but I do know that if you phone, if you see what you think is illegal hunting in progress, you phone 999. Okay? If you have got intel or it's happened, phone 101, sit on the phone for 20 minutes and then speak to someone. But whichever way you do it, you must ask for a log number. And this means, because modern day policing is statistics led. So like we have meetings with Dorset Police every year, and one year, and this was going back a while, one year the inspector said, well, hunting's not an issue. And we were like, yes, it is an issue. And he was, no, it's not. We get more complaints about dog poo than we do about illegal hunting. He said to us, modern policing is statistics led. Unless people phone in and their calls are logged, if it's logged, it goes on their system. If it goes on their system, it means it becomes a statistic. And that's how modern policing is, that's how they allocate their little resources into what statistically demands it.
Could we check that it can be brownie points for the police if they get a wildlife crime? Because surely that would encourage all these young ones who might be on our side to do it. Because actually, I found that the police, I had an hour with Deputy Chief Inspector Paul Netherton, with one of the hunt sabs with me. He wasn't interested in any of the evidence because he can't take it any further. And I've been to court lots of times, and I see how the courts just dismiss it, and the Crown prosecution dismiss it. So the police will not bother on the whole. But if they could get brownie points for getting a wildlife crime, pinning someone down, it might encourage the younger ones. Could you look into that?
Yes, certainly. I think part of the problem is that one of the weaknesses of the Hunting Act, one of the many weaknesses, is that it's not even a recordable offence. So if you get done for illegal hunting under the Hunting Act, you don't get a record. It's on a par with parking on double yellow lines. Yeah, I kid you not. So, where is the incentive when the police... I mean, I'm not advocating for the police, although, they have to be our friends in this because long term, they are there to enforce the law. But there's no incentive for them to put loads of resources into hunting act offences, because at the end of the day, there's no brownie point for the copper because it's not even a recordable offence. That needs to change. Yeah. And the thing is, if you give me your details afterwards, I promise you I will write an email and I will send a letter and I will do all that. But the whole point about Hands Off is that don't ask us to do it. If you think something needs to be done, do it. You make that contact, you ask that question. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so use those platforms to share what you've been doing and your ideas of what other people could be doing. You know, because it's the people's campaign. It's not like, you don't ask, we're not paid, we're just volunteers, so don't ask, you know, it's no good asking us to do all these other things. Do it yourself. Encourage other people to do it. Use our social media platforms if you've got a great idea. We just put up a really controversial blog today. Have a look. It's all about me. It's just, you know, all it is just throwing ideas out there.
Can I get back to you on that as well, in that I know the policing in terms of wildlife crime officers across the country is very patchy. Some areas are good, some areas aren't. So, but there is a wildlife crime officer for the Totnes area. And I have called them out, and they responded immediately.
Can I tell you about Devon and Cornwall Police? I know they get a bad press, but I got an email to the Hands Off email from a copper down in Plymouth. Can't remember his name. I wouldn't tell you if I could. But he said, we've got this resource on the website called the Hands Off Hunt Finder. So you put your postcode in, you click on the button, and it will tell you who your local fox hunt is. It's not completely accurate, so you need to double check it, but it's as accurate as we can do with the information we've got. So this copper got in touch, and he said, we cannot find out who we're dealing with, because there are so many hunts in Devon and Cornwall. And you've got this fantastic resource, can we share it? And I said, of course. So I sent them through all the hard copies of the, all the spec that we based this part of the website on. I sent them all to him, and that's how we can work with the police. You know, the hunts don't tell the police who they are or what they're doing. The police don't know, you know, but we've got one copper in Plymouth who, you know, he's scratching his head. They're taking the piss out of me. I'm going to do something about it. So he's come to us and we're helping him. And we had a lovely tweet from a copper in Shropshire who found our website. And he now signposts people in Shropshire to the Hands Off website so they can warn off their hunt, just like people do here. Dorset Police, you know, they get a hunt go through someone's garden. It's trespass, it's a civil offence. So the landowner calls the police and they're spitting feathers. You know, we've had the hunt come in our garden. What are you going to do about it? Coppers, well, we can't do anything about it. It's a civil offence. Now what they do is they say, look, there's nothing we can do about it, but if you go to www.houndsoff.co.uk, they will help you. You can help yourself, and if you get stuck, they will help you. So the police are happy because they can signpost people, so they don't feel like they're just sort of stonewalling. They're actually being helpful, and the public are happy because they find someone who genuinely does care about what's happened to them.
Have any of the landowners that you advise taken civil proceedings against hunts that have trespassed or caused havoc on the land?
We're almost there. We've one of the things we advise landowners to do is we've got a pro forma letter on the website, and we advise that this pro forma letter is sent to the local police and the local MPs as well. And sending it to the MPs, I have to tell you, is proving to be one of the most effective parts of the whole process of protecting your land. We've got an MP in Cheshire who rides with the hunt, who has said publicly she's not going to engage with her constituents on hunting matters, but she is engaging, she is advocating for anti-hunting landowners who have had hunts up there coming all over their land, because that's her job. That's why she's elected as an MP. And because of the way we encourage people to do it, it's absolutely correct and proper. So that's working. Down here in Devon, we haven't taken an injunction yet, but we're waiting for one hunt to put a foot out of line. We're taking legal advice on 2 other hunts, which are at the point of getting solicitors' letters. There's solicitors' letters gone out in East Sussex. So when we started in 2011, people were sending out warning off letters. It happens again, send another warning off letter, it happens again. You know, incremental steps, and we've now reached the point where some landowners it's happened just once too often. So we're almost there. Hope we don't have to go that far, but some hunts are just arrogant, bloody-minded, and they don't care. Some hunts get a warning off letter, and that's it, you know. They don't cause any more trouble. But yeah, we're almost there.
There seems to be more hunting outside of the official dates when it's for the closed season. Have you found that to be the case? In fact, it would be very useful if you just run through the closed seasons for each kind of hunting.
Well, fox hunting starts. Fox hunting, the season for fox hunting is all dependent on crops. So on Salisbury Plain, they'll be starting fox hunting end of July. In the West Country, up on the moors and that, they'll be starting early August. As soon as the crops come in, they start cub hunting, training the young hounds, and they will go right through the autumn and the winter. Some hunts pack up end of February, early March.
When should they? Is there no?
Well, they shouldn't be doing it at all, sir.
No, but when is the date? Because that's another.
Well, there's a date for certain ways of killing hares because they're a game species, but foxes aren't game. There's only self-imposed seasons, and that is all to do with access to land for crops. Deer hunting has dates. There's autumn stag hunting, which runs from August until sometime in October, and then they hunt hinds through until end of February, and then they're on spring stags, but until now.
Perhaps you might explain the difference between the cub hunting and how it transitions into the full-blown hunting if people don't understand the difference.
Yeah, so cub hunting is autumn hunting, training the young hounds that have never done it before so that they can be integrated into the pack. So if this room was a woodland or a field of maize known to contain a litter of fox cubs, they would surround the room with hunt followers on foot and on horseback, and they'd be slapping their saddle, and they'd be going aye, 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 and they'd be keeping all the hounds and all the foxes in this cover, woodland or maize or whatever, and scaring any foxes that try and escape back in. Kill them all, maybe one fox gets out, that's alright, because that's the fox that knows the sound of the hunting horn is a signal to leg it, and that'll give them a good chase later in the season. So that's how cub hunting begins, with fox and hounds in close proximity, close up and personal. They want the hounds to see, smell and taste fox, and then gradually, as September turns into October, they might go for longer little chases until the opening meet, which is the end of October, beginning of November, and then the whole emphasis changes and it's all about providing sport. So they don't want to kill the fox quickly, they want to chase it for as long as possible so the riders can have a good chase, good gallop across country, and everyone has a fine spectacle.
A few years back, some of you might remember that cub hunting happened twice in 1 month on Riverford Farms land. And as a result of that, I set up a petition asking people to boycott Riverford Farm. And that sort of worked in that they stopped hunting foxes on with hounds They stopped hunting with hounds on their land, but they still allow shooting of anything. And they still allow hunting of all kinds, including hare coursing, on all of their suppliers' land, including a farm up in North Yorkshire, which has a 60% franchise of Riverford. And all of the members of that family on Home Farm are members of the local hare coursing hunt, and they hold hare coursing events on their land regularly and throughout the Hunting with Dogs ban. So just to give a sort of local flavour here is that, you know, cub hunting is the most barbaric form of hunting that there is, because it's barbaric to young cubs and to the vixen that is killed and loses her life as well as her cubs. But also it's barbaric for the hounds as well, because any that don't perform simply get shot, and they don't simply get rehoused or whatever, with a family that will love them. So just to give you an idea, cub hunting is happening just down the road, in farms literally on the doorstep of Totnes. And we like to think that we do things differently here in Totnes, but you only have to go 2 fields away from the town centre and you're back in the bad old days.
And cub hunting happens early in the morning, so keep your eyes open. It's typically just after dawn, as opposed to your regular fox hunts that they would meet at 11 o'clock.
And the answer to the Riverford thing is easy: grow your own.
To be slightly fair, not that you're being unfair, but my understanding, so I was speaking to someone about this, is that it's not Riverford's land. And they it's land that they're using, some of it's rented, and they don't actually have ownership.
No, it was. It was Riverford's land, and also...
Because the shooting of all the pheasants.
Sure. Well, actually, they'll take pot shots at anything, because the shooters have been asked about whether they would shoot badgers, for instance, which was illegal, and they said that they would. But actually,
pot shots at the neighbour's house and
sure.
it with shot.
But the important thing to bear in mind about Riverford is that Louise Watson is the joint master of a local hunt that goes out 3 times a week. And then her brother, Oliver Watson, who has the dairy herd, and the hunts happen on his land and on her land. And they sell all of their products through the Riverford shops and in the veg boxes. So, that excuse was a nice bit of peddling that Guy Watson did in the media to try and get out and try and get the egg off of his face. But basically it's not true.
How are we doing? Yeah?
Is there any possibility of looking into alternative method of sort of dealing with hunts of actually going off the bloodhound ownership or supervision, as in going after if someone is caught fox hunting, making it illegal for them to keep dogs or something.
Well, that's a matter for the magistrates.
Yeah, but I mean, is there enablement legislation for that to happen?
I don't know. Listen, what I want to also say is we are all volunteers. We don't receive any funding, so before you go, buy a t-shirt, buy a hat, make a small donation for a car sticker, and help us to spread Foxy love.
Can I ask one final question?
Yeah.
And that's about a recent case that came up in court about a fox that was hounded by hounds to, close to the point of death, but was dispatched, as it were, by an eagle.
Yeah.
And that hunt got let off of the, because that was a loophole that they were making use of.
No, the huntsman got done.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I thought that one...
The huntsman was convicted. No, the guy who flew the eagle...
He got out of it.
He got out of it.
Right.
Because the judge said, well, you weren't controlling what the hound did. But the huntsman got done.
Good.
Yeah.
Because another thing, I've spoken to falconers about how they use hawks of all kinds to kill off a fox. and a lot of people are under the impression that it's a quick process. And what he said to me was, one particular chap that I've worked with for a long time on art, as it happens, he said that he has flown eagles and similar to kill off foxes at the end of a chase. And he said what happens is the bird flies over the fox and taps it on the back, which makes the fox look up, and then the eagle then clamps its talons over the face of the fox and kills it by piercing its eyes, its brain, and whatever else. But it's not quick.
No.
It's not like a bullet, and even then sometimes they can miss. But it's not a quick way of dying, and it can take up to 5 minutes for a fox to die that way. It's no more humane than anything else.
No, I agree with you totally.
Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.